Hello again, it's Matthew here, and this is the first video of 2022. So happy new year to all my subscribers and anyone else watching this video. Today's video is going to be about this. This is a piece of kit that I recently acquired, and it's actually pretty rare. It's pretty rare. There's not a lot of information about it online. So I bought this in essence to make this video, but it's actually quite a funky piece of kit, and it's this. It's the Carlsbro AD1 analog delay unit. Now, Calsbro, if you don't know, are a British company. They've been around since the 60s. They've made loads of amplifiers, speaker cabinets, PA systems, stuff like that. I've had a lot of Carlsbro gear over the years. My first proper guitar amp was a Carlsbro Hornet 45 combo. I used to have a Carlsbro Stingray, I think it was called. It was a big bass amp anyway, 15-inch speaker, really heavy duty. And I still have a couple of odd Carlsbro bits lying around. But this was really interesting because from what I understand, it's a analog bucket bridge type delay unit. It was designed, I think, mostly for PA use. As you'll see later in the video, their styling of their cabinets were all made very similar. In fact, all their amplifiers all effectively had the same power output stage, and you know, whether it was a guitar amp, PA amp, keyboard amp, just had a different input on the front panel, and that just plugged into the same power amp. Anyway, what we're going to do with this, I'm going to whip the top off it. We'll have a little look inside, see what makes it tick, and then I'm going to go back in time about a week to where I keep all my equipment, and we'll do a quick sound demo of this and see what it sounds like. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's get this apart. Okay, well, there's very little documentation on the internet about this unit other than this review from the December edition of Electronica Music Maker 1983. And this review reprints basically what was in the magazine. Now, interestingly, one of the features that it has is written about here, and it says, available in the now familiar Carlsbro plastic casing, the AD1 can also be removed for a simple rack mounting unit. Well, we're going to have a look at that in a minute and see if that's true or not. And the important bit here is the technical data. It says it's got between 40 and 340 milliseconds of delay. So, you know, almost half a second, which is kind of standard really for those type delays. I think the Electro-Harmonix Memory Man is fairly similar in that response. One thing that's pretty nice about this unit is that everything's on the front. Input, various outputs, foot switch, power, everything's accessible from the front. So left to right, we've got our input here. We've got an LED, which is like a signal clipping level LED. We've got a gain control, delay, regen, which is feedback, 2 EQ, bass and treble, and the echo volume. Then we've got the effects on and off switch here, which also can be used by a foot switch. And then we've got 3 outputs. You've got the direct output, so that's what's coming in. Got the mix output, so that's basically what it is, the mix of clean signal and the echo. And then we've got a delay only signal. So if you use the delay only in the input, then that's the sort of setup you would use on a mixing desk in an effects loop. And then we've got a power button here at the front. Let's have a quick look at the back. And the back is very basic. It's just got the Carlsbro logo and serial number, and it's got an IC mains input connector, and that's it. So let's take it apart. Okay, I've removed the side panels. One side panel had the handle there, and the other side panel had the Carlsbro logo on there. These are exactly the same panels as you would have found on any other Carlsbro amplifier product. And if we lift off the top, there it is. Looking at the circuit board, on this end we've got our power supplies. There's a transformer there, bridge rectifier, smoothing capacitor, all the sort of things that we'd normally expect. So at the heart of this Echo unit are these 2 chips here. These are Reticon SAD4096 bucket bridge delay chips. Now these are actually quite rare, and these are also in various sort of MXR pedals. I think they're in one of the MXR delay pedals as well, but they're the bucket bridge delays that actually give this unit its echo, and these are original chips, and they are pretty sought after these days, so they're probably worth more than the whole Echo unit is as a unit. But anyway, it's a really great looking design. And if you think this design may be slightly familiar to you, then you're absolutely right, because Carlsbro in the 80s certainly more than tipped their hat to another great British amplifier manufacturer. Here we have then an old H&H PA amplifier, and if you look at it, it's fairly uniform and consistent in its design style, where you've got the master controls at this end, and then each input basically has two jack sockets going in, and then there's a switch for the reverb to be turned on and off. These amps were really big in the 70s and early 80s. And now above it we have this amp here, which is a Carlsbro Marlin PA150. Now this is very similar in design to the H&H. The only major difference is you've got two switches, because you've also got an effects loop, and the effects loop is here, and that can go to any kind of effects unit you like, be it made by Carlsbro or anyone else. This amp here actually happens to be an amp that I've had in my life for nearly 40 years. My dad bought this in 1983 and it's still working today. It's a great solid workhorse amp, just like the old H&H's are. And for good measure now, you can see that the echo unit is very much in the same style as the PA amps. The end cheeks are exactly the same, and they made a range of equipment that was in this width, like the 90-watt versions of this, which was a 4-channel PA amp, and they also made guitar amps and keyboard amps that had the same width, so you could plonk this on top of another Carlsbro product and it would match quite neatly. The amplifier I'm going to use to demonstrate the echo unit is this one. This is the Marshall Bluesbreaker combo. This is in essence the JTM 45 head put into a combo with a built-in tremolo circuit. The controls are very basic. You've got your two inputs there, which I normally daisy chain with a jack because one has a bright setting and the other is a normal setting. And then turning my camera around, you've got the tremolo controls here, and we've got our equalization here, presence, bass, middle and treble. And at the far end we've got our power on off switch and our standby switch. Okay, I'm all set up ready to go. I've got the amp plugged in. I'm using an SM57, which is going straight into the camera, and the effects units here. Now the guitar I'm going to use to demo today is this. This is my Spirit by Steinberger guitar. It was one of their kind of budgety versions of their guitars made in the late 80s. And I've had this guitar for quite a number of years now. I think I've had this now for 15 years, and I use this on a off and on basis, but I certainly use this a lot with All Living Fear, and it's a beautiful playable guitar. I like the EMG pickups on it, I like the variety of sounds you get from it, and I think it looks really cool. So I'm just on the second position. And so that's a clean tone. The effects unit itself has actually got some built-in EQ. I've put that bang in the middle. The pre-gain control is really low because I think this was originally designed to work just with microphones, so you'd want to have a bit more gain. So I've got it turned right down so there's no clipping, and at the moment the echo level is turned off and the effect is turned off. I've got the amp set to roughly middle on the middle position, and I've just rolled off the treble slightly, and I've turned the bass up to about 3 o'clock and the presence is about 1 o'clock. So that's the 5th position. So anyway, let's listen to some echo. So I've got the delay set into the middle, and if I turn the echo control level up a bit, so that's quite a nice sort of slapbacky sound. If I turn the delay level down a bit more, you get the I can actually turn the echo level up a bit as well. I've now got the echo turned up to number 6. quite a nice pleasing sound. Wind it in a bit more. We're now on between 7 and 8 or 3 o'clock if you're using that analogy. And of course, being an analog echo, if you just play a note, you fiddle around with the speed and get some weird noises. I mean, you can probably hear some kind of residual noise in the background. That's just what you get with these old bucket bridge delayed chips. You know, the longer the delay is, the more noise it's going to pick up. And certainly if I go onto the humbucker with the full volume, you can kind of hear that sort of clipping. So really you've got to get the balance of the level right between what you're feeding into it and to avoid the clipping, but still keep a nice sort of clean tone. So how does this kind of sound in a mix with other instruments? Well, just to give you an idea, I'm literally just going through the delay unit into the amp, nothing else. And I'm going to do a mix with some bass, some drum loops, which were recorded by my friend Emily Dolan Davis of emilydrums.com. See the link in description. She does this thing called Stem Club, Drum Stem Club rather, where she uploads new drum loops and drum stems every week that you can make songs out of. So I've taken one of her loops, and I'll put all the details in the description, and I've added some bass guitar, and I've added a bit of weird keyboards coming from the Welsum Globetrotter electric organ, which I did a video about the other day. So I'm just going to fly into record, and I'm just going to improvise, and this is how it sounds. So yeah, bum notes and all, that's roughly what it sounds like in a mix with other instruments. Well, I hope you found this video interesting. I think this is a really nice delay unit. It's probably not the most practical thing for a guitarist to use, but certainly in the studio it's absolutely fine. And if you got one of these, please leave a comment, let me know what you think about it, because I'm saying these are pretty rare. And I don't even remember these being around at the time, even though I had a lot of Carlsbro kit back in the early 80s. So anyway, thanks for watching the video. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.